All right, thanks, Tim. Well, first of all, I'm glad I'm not on the road recruiting today. Happy to see y'all. That means that we're in the championship game and excited to have that opportunity to go compete for this league. But also really proud of our team and our staff for a great season, 11-1. Following up a 12-0 season last year. Just can't tell you how hard that is to do and how proud I am of our team and staff to just continually get themselves ready to play at a high level is just awesome to be a part of it. And so really proud of all those guys, and the credit goes to the players. We've got a bunch of good ones. Yesterday, I think we had 18 guys that were honored on the All-ACC, whether it was first team, second team, third team, honorable mention, whatever, and really happy for those guys, especially guys like Jadar Johnson, who's a guy that's just gotten better and better, and now he comes back and he makes first team, all conference, 3 all-conference offensive linemen for the first time in the history of the school. It's just awesome to see those guys be honored that way. And then Coach V, named as a Broyles finalist again. He's kind of on that list every single year, and definitely deserving to win it without a doubt, and the job that he's done with our defense. So just proud of all those guys, and again, just it's a privilege to compete for the ACC championship. We take a lot of pride in that. It's what we set out to do. Because from day one when we got this job, if we can compete in our league, if we can consistently be in the hunt for our league, we're not going to win it every year, but if we can consistently be in the hunt and compete at the highest level in this conference, then we're going to have a chance to be a nationally relevant football team. And that's what's happened over the 8 years here. So it's our 4th opportunity to go play for the title. And, we know that we've got an outstanding challenge in Virginia Tech in front of us. Watching these guys, very impressive football team. It's going to be weird not having Coach Beamer there. We haven't played him, since Coach Beamer retired. But very, very physical football team. Prideful football team that plays with great effort. They play to the last echo of the whistle every snap, and I have a great respect for that. When you turn on the tape and you watch, teams compete the way these guys compete. So really impressed with what I've seen offensively. It all goes through number 4, their quarterback. I mean, he is a very good football player. Big, strong. Physical guy. They're a spread power team with great tempo. They want to play really, really fast. So that means that the quarterback's got to be a great decision maker for them. And they're going to all the zone read stuff, and then the play action, the run pass options that come off of that. He does an excellent job. So they've got a great system. They understand what they're doing, and they've got excellent skill around this quarterback. They're good at running back. They got a good tight end. They got some outstanding guys outside. They got a 6'7" dude out there that everybody has thrown the ball up to, and or he's made. They've thrown it up to him, and he's made plays on everybody. Good football player. Number 1's a heck of a receiver. Well, number 5 is their jet sweep guy, but it's a good football team. Offensive line, same thing, tough, physical, built to run the ball. They're going to run the powers, the counters, the quarterback powers, the jet sweep powers. They're going to run all of that stuff with the play actions off of it. A lot of specials that they have set up. They run a bunch of. I don't necessarily think they're trick plays, but they're specials designed off of what they do, which is good coaching. But very impressed with them. And then defensively, Bud Foster's been there forever, 20-plus years or so. 22 years as the coordinator, and he's forgot more football than I'll probably ever know. He is a great football coach and does an unbelievable job. I got a ton of respect for the job he does, because, again, to stay somewhere that long and to have that type of success and to see how his team plays. I mean, those guys just take on his personality. They play with tremendous effort, toughness. They're a disciplined group. They truly understand the nuances of his defense, present a lot of different things from a coverage standpoint. They'll show you a lot of different looks, and then they'll bring their pressure. He's not afraid to get up there and challenge you and play cover zero. They do a great job up front. Number 4 is an outstanding defensive end. He's got about 6 or 7 sacks, a lot of movement. Very seldom do they just line up and play. It's always somebody slanting, twisting, looping. There's movement almost every snap. And they understand what they're doing and where they're supposed to be. The backers are very impressive. They're big inside. Their middle backer is he plays about every snap. I think he plays. I can't pronounce his last name, I'd say it, but he plays about every snap. I don't think he ever comes off the field. And he is a heck of a football player. 49, their outside backer, is also a great player. 6, their nickel. Got all their guys back in the secondary, which is really, I think, paid big dividends for them this year, because all those guys really understand what they're doing. And they've done a nice job in creating some turnovers and creating problems for some of these teams that they played. But, again, two division champs. This is the way a championship game ought to be. 2 really good football teams that are going to line up and play for the overall championship Saturday night, and we're glad to have that opportunity.
Coach, so many years under Coach Beamer, you kind of knew what Virginia Tech was. They just had some hallmarks. What are they under Coach Fuente? Have they changed? What have you noticed about what is Virginia Tech football now?
Well, the biggest change is offensively. That they're different there, and I think that they were kind of trending toward what they're doing now, but I think Justin's come in and has really solidified them offensively, big time. And I think they've always been that defensively, but now they've really kind of, and they're not trying to be all things to all people. They know exactly who they are and what they've got to do to give themselves a chance to be successful, and that's what they do. And that's what good teams do. That's what good coaches do. And they've done an excellent job. This is year 1 in kind of instilling the fundamentals of their system into these guys and getting these guys to buy in, and then they've grown it as the year has gone. You go back and you watch them from the Tennessee game all the way to Virginia. It is, from my eyes, in knowing what I'm looking at, it is a real growth with their system and the understanding of what they're doing and the confidence of what they're doing at every position. So that's the biggest thing. I just think that they are a true identity over there offensively that they're going to build around for years to come.
Coach, how much does it help having the 3 common opponents in your film study and trying to identify tendencies?
Say that one more time.
With the 3 common opponents you have with Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean it's you study everybody. I think that people can look too much into that stuff. We lost to Pitt. They beat Pitt. They lost to Syracuse. We beat Syracuse. That just goes to show you none of that stuff means anything. But I think from a personnel standpoint, they lost to Georgia Tech. We beat Georgia Tech. You can get a feel for it, but it's really the totality of a season. Anything can happen on any day. Sometimes teams have better days than others. Sometimes you have matchup issues. Sometimes you have an injury. Sometimes you have turnovers. Sometimes you have a monsoon. There's a lot of factors that go into game day. But as you study them all season long, we're trying to, who are they? Who are their personnel? How have they responded week in and week out? And this has been an incredibly consistent football team. Again, year 1 of a new coach, new voices, new philosophies, new things, and how they responded. They responded very well. It's a good football team that has gotten better all year.
Sorry, Ben was saying that he feels like the defense is more fresh than it was at this point last year. How do you view that, and what have you done to kind of make sure those guys stay healthy throughout the year?
Well, I really haven't done anything. I just think it's just a product of who our team is this year and our schedule. You know, there's no question. I mean, y'all have heard me say many times, we won last year in November, but I mean, and there's a lot to be said for finding a way to win. And our guys gutted it out, but we were a exhausted football team last year at this time. We didn't finish well in this game. We didn't finish well in the South Carolina game. We were kind of, you know, hanging on to get to the finish line. We played 10 straight. And not only did we play 10 straight, we had no competitive depth on defense. You know, you go back to the beginning of the year, the one thing I told all you media guys was the biggest change in our team is going to be the competitive depth of our team. It's going to pay off for us. It's going to make us better. We have more functional guys than we had last year. You know, you look at Shaq and Dodd and the enormous amount of snaps that they played. We got more guys that can go play. We don't hold our breath. You know, B.J. Goodson is down. You know, we don't hold our breath this year. We've played more guys throughout the season. We've developed more confidence, and then our schedule. You know, we had an open date, and we don't control that. We had an open date that allowed us to. It came at a good time to where we could kind of recharge. We've been pretty fortunate with some injuries and things like that, but. Just more guys, more competition at practice, and more guys that are available and ready to go win for us. And I think that's helped us big time. So, you know, there's no question we're a fresher team than we were this time last year. Not even close on both sides.
Yeah, but you talked about right at the start how difficult it is to follow up the season you had last year with what you guys have done this year. That locker room in Arizona was pretty down, pretty disappointed. Did you have a plan coming back that says, okay, we're not going to get back here tomorrow, so we need to take these steps to get everybody's mind right and get back on this track?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's no different than any other year. For us, we start over every year, regardless. I mean, if we have a disappointing season or if you get beat in the national championship game 14-1. I mean, we're going to start over, and we're going to self-evaluate. We're gonna, from a staff standpoint, we're going to evaluate from a personnel standpoint. The guys on our football team, we're going to evaluate from a schematic standpoint. What was good, what was bad, what are areas that we need to really try to improve, and that's what we do every year. And then for me. The mentality, what's the psychological aspect of the team coming back, and how do we approach that? And that's always different, you know, depending on the type of team you have and who are the leaders coming back. What's going to be the voices in the locker room? You know, what are they made of? And so then you kind of formulate your plan for the new journey. So you truly start over every year. Every season is a season of its own, a new journey, new team, new voices, new chemistry, new morale, new motivating factors. There's lots of different things, different challenges. Obviously next year it's going to be, okay, who's the quarterback? And how's the new quarterback? Is it going to, Kelly's going to be the guy for sure going into the spring, and no question. How's he going to do? Well, we're going to all find out. So different storylines every single year on teams. For this football team coming back, it was just a very tangible presence of leadership day one. And so for me, I've tapped into that all year long. These guys have just been so easy. We've had just no issues. accountability, guys just practicing the right way, buying into what we got to do in the spring, understand that you have to pay the price all over again. You don't just get back somewhere. It doesn't work that way. You have to go and prove it, and buying into the mentality that we have that, hey, every game's the biggest game of the year, and then whatever result we get, whether it's a great result or a poor result, it's all about what's next. Always all about what's next, and how do we attack it and how do we get better. And our guys, that's the culture that we have. But really didn't do anything special. We just started over, just like we do every year.
How much of an advantage is it that this team in particular has? They've sort of been to these places. I mean, the ACC championship game isn't a new experience for them, and then whatever comes after that is, these aren't completely new experiences for your team.
Yeah, I think experience is a great teacher. There's no question. I mean, I'm a better coach at 47 than I was at 38. That's for sure. Got some experience. Thank goodness. Exactly. It's just you were probably a better player as a senior than you were as a freshman. It's called experience. That's experience is a great teacher. And I think when you have a lot of guys that can draw on experience, it translates into the locker room, transfers in the locker room, from just players getting each other ready and the leadership. And that's what this team's had all year. Everybody thinks we're this veteran football team. We're a really young team. You got 120 guys on the roster. Most of them are freshmen and sophomores. But those seniors and juniors are incredibly impactful people. And they have an experience that they've been able to draw on and teach, and then validation of what you do as a program. They know. I mean, I don't have to, I don't have to explain, hey, this is why we're doing this on Tuesday. They know. Okay, here's our schedule. This is what we're doing. Okay, all right, let's go. They trust and they believe in what we do because of past experience. So I think your experience reinforces the core values of your program, and the leadership of your team can draw on that. This team had an experience to draw on that no other team has had. They've been number one. They've been in a playoff. They've done all that. They've been to a national championship experience. So they know that they're good enough, and they know what it takes, and they know how to transfer that in the locker room. And then it's my job as new people come in here to constantly reinstall the core values of our program and to make sure they understand why. It hadn't always been this way, guys. And here's why we've had success, and this is why we do these things this way, and don't take it for granted. And so there's just always a teaching process in place, but experience is there's nothing like experience. Deshaun Watson's a better quarterback this year than he was as a freshman, way better. He's a better quarterback this year than he was last year, and experience has taught him.
What have been the biggest challenges of this season, and how do you think this team's overcome them?
The biggest challenges of this season were a bunch of drop balls first couple ball games and about 4 drop touchdowns in the first couple games. That was a challenge, because we had to win despite that. That was a problem. And then the other challenge of this season was an enormous amount of turnovers in a couple games that we had to overcome. It was a challenge, but we did, all except one. We had 630 yards against Pitt. We needed 631. The turnovers have been the biggest challenge. And in early part of the season, the drops. Other than that, we've played really good football. Been very consistent on defense all year. We've played well on offense all year. A lot of the turnovers came in the red zone, as y'all know. But we've actually been better in the red zone. 68% we've scored in the red zone. Touchdowns, more touchdowns in the red zone this year. But the turnovers have been the biggest challenge. There's no question. But we've kind of started to trend in the right direction, which is where we need to be. When we've had one or less, y'all know it's like enormous how we've outscored the opponent. And when we've had two or more, we've allowed people to stay in there. And that's when you play good teams, that's what happens. But the fact that we've been able to get to 11-1 and overcome it, and one loss on the last play of the game by 1 point in a game where we had critical turnovers and didn't play our best game defensively, that's you can get beat. They're a good team.
The change in venue, does that affect the atmosphere and the whole experience this year going to Orlando?
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we have a great crowd. I have no idea. But, we're just happy to be in it. I mean, we'll go play wherever. It don't matter. It's these kids have worked their butts off to get in this game. They've earned it. They have absolutely earned it. And so has Virginia Tech. And, so I don't have any doubt it'll be a great atmosphere. I can tell you this, VTech will be excited to play, and Clemson's going to be excited to play because both of these teams started 120 days ago in prepping, and everybody was prepping for this moment, and that's what it's all about. There's two teams left. Everybody else is at home, not practicing, and all the coaches are on the road recruiting. So, and I look forward to going recruiting next week, but these two teams will be excited to play regardless. And the one time we were down there, they had just finished that stadium, and it's nice. It's a really nice venue. I'm hopeful that the Clemson Nation will show up. I don't have any doubt that they will, and that we'll have a great crowd there to support this team. I hope that we don't take it for granted. I hope that we don't take winning for granted. I hope that we don't ever become one of those programs that now all of a sudden, ACC championship games aren't a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I'm excited for our guys to have the opportunity to go and play.
Is this the most consistent road team you've ever been a part of?
Yeah, we're undefeated. We're 10.
The 5 games, though, the performance.
Yeah. I mean, we were 5-0 last year. So, I mean, I've never been a part of back-to-back undefeated road seasons ever. So they were good last year, but this team to go to Auburn and win at night, and that was not a good win at the moment. Nobody was like, oh well, we didn't win by enough. That was drops and drop touchdowns, but we won the game. We hadn't won in Atlanta in 13 years. They've turned out to have a pretty good little team, pretty solid team. 10-2 versus the SEC, by the way, last 3 years. Did y'all write that? Y'all know that? Just make sure y'all know that. Just want to make sure y'all know that. Yellow Jackets getting it done. But we hadn't won in Tallahassee in 10 years. So when you look at the schedule coming out, you're like, woo, well, they got to go to Auburn. Man, Clemson hadn't won in Auburn in a long time. Got to go to Atlanta, hadn't won there in 13 years. Got to go to Tallahassee, hadn't won there in 10 years. Got a short week to go to Atlanta, by the way. You got 3 days to get ready. You got to go on another short week to play BC at BC. And then you got to go up to Wake Forest, who's played everybody tough. Bowl team. I'm proud of these guys. It's been very difficult. And, oh, by the way, every game's been a night game, getting back at whatever time. So these guys have been consistent all year, and they've showed up ready to play.
All that considered, can that apply to these neutral site?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think that, regardless of where we've played, we've been a consistent football team. We've been consistent at home, too. We've had one loss in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years here. So we've been a very consistent team regardless of where we've played. We don't really get caught up too much into, and that's why, because we don't really, we're playing at home or we're playing on the road. We just try to play to a standard each and every week, regardless of where we are or what the weather is or whatever. But it's a championship environment. I know the ACC will do a great job. I know there's been a lot of logistical things and dynamics that have had to change. But, we'll be ready to play, and so will Virginia Tech.
A couple weeks ago, you said that this team, you noticed a hard edge to this team in practice. How has that manifested itself in games?
Well, as I said a couple weeks ago, a little bit of sometimes a little pain's good for you, and I think that it has made us feel a little better, if you will. Cough syrup make you feel a little better. Tastes bad going down, and that's kind of what happened with this team. I think they showed up angry and very disappointed, but ready to get back to work. And they've had a good edge to them really all year, even in camp. Going back to camp, this team's been easy to get ready for practice, and but I just think that they can see the finish line. They can see the finish line, and these I think anytime you're finishing a class or you're finishing a season of sorts of whatever, it's exciting. It's an exciting time when you can see that, but you got to make a decision on how you're going to finish. And I love the edge to this football team. They want to finish strong. We want to accelerate through and beyond the line. We don't want to just cross the line. And it's been a good edge, and with our leadership meetings, practice field, in here, you name it. And they're excited to have the opportunity, but they have great respect for the challenge that we have in front of us, and the fact that we're going to play really well.
The three guys you have listed out, first off, Pagano's still on track of what you thought?
Yeah. He's probably ahead of schedule. He's really doing well. He wants to play this week. I don't know that that's realistic for him to be able to. He probably could play, but I don't know if he could play winning football like we need. But he's working really hard toward that. And then same thing with Jurgen. Jurgen is going to be close, but I don't know if he'll quite make it by the weekend. So probably same thing. But both those guys will be, raring to go once we get into our bowl prep. And then John Simpson looks good. He actually looks really good. I think he's got a chance for this weekend.
Where are you with Baker and Frew Morgan?
Well, Baker's not going to play. I mean, he's just practicing, and he's not in a position, now where we are in the season to compete. He's much better. He's more confident, but he's not in a position to go compete for playing time. And then Frew, I don't have any update at this point.
What's it like seeing Jay Guillermo's path? He was very open about his struggles with depression, mental illness, and now to see him play in the ACC championship 2 years in a row. What's it been like to be on that ride with him, and what does it say about his character? Yeah,
and all conference. And he make all conference last year too.
Second team.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back all conference years, and literally, I didn't know if he would ever play football again. When he had some struggles, I didn't even know if I'd ever see him again. When he, left school. And he was a lost, broken young person, and he's been very open about that. But it's great. It's a great encouragement to a lot of people, and I'm sure he's an inspiration to a lot of people. And I'm proud of him because he's used his struggles, and he's taken that platform that he has here to encourage others. Because it's a tough world out there, and people get lost. Man, depression is it don't show up with a sore throat. I mean, you get a sore throat, you're like, I better take some medicine, go see the doctor. And but depression doesn't show up that way. And when it gets on you, it's like, it's a hopeless, helpless, and I've learned a lot about depression dealing with young people, because it's a real issue. I mean, the number one issue probably that we deal with these student athletes, and really just college students in general, is mental health. Seriously, mental health. There's so much on these young people, the world that they live in now, the external pressures, all this stuff. It's tough. And then there's a lot of challenges out there, whether it's societal, relationships, expectations. I mean, it's the same for these athletes as it is for, the kid showing up over here that's never made a C before, and now all of a sudden he's made a C, and next thing you know, they lose sight, and depression is serious. But Jay's such an encouragement because you can get better. You can overcome it. It can be treated, you know. And you know, I just think that a lot of people can draw strength from him. Because again, I didn't even think he'd ever play football, and I'm like, how did you get here? Trying to understand, and now to see him. I mean, we don't have a better leader. I mean, he's just incredible. One of the most committed people. Happy. It's scary to know that he was at that spot at one time, but it's encouraging and inspiring to see him now, and I think that is helpful for a lot of people out there. And I'm proud of him. I'm happy for his family. He's got an incredible family that were very supportive of him, and the people of Clemson. You know, our infrastructure here and the job that they did in helping him work through his struggle. So it's awesome. Just makes your heart smile to see him have the success that he set out to have. You know, we always are going to have some, you know, curves in the road, and you know, and that's life. Life happens, and it's great to see a young man respond in such a positive way.
Have you seen his impression of you?
I've seen all of his impressions. He does me okay, but he's got some better ones. I mean, he is talented, really, really talented. Friday nights, if you get on the team bus, you know, to the movie and back, that's the Jay Guillermo comedy hour, because he gets the microphone, and it's just that's just the tradition around here. You know, for a long time I rode the offensive bus, but I'm always on the defensive bus. Different personalities, different dynamics on the defensive bus. But Jay he's something special. And in fact, we at the national championship last year, we went to this. We were supposed to go to this comedy show in our hotel, and they were bringing in these comedy people, and so everybody's there. And it's like, okay, well, like they're late or something. And we were kind of getting anxious. Everybody was, you know, getting anxious and ready to move on here. And so Jay gets up, takes the stage, and he put on the most unbelievable comedy routine you've ever seen. Everybody's just in the floor. And it was kind of a letdown when the real comedian showed up. I mean, I'm serious. But yeah, he's got a gift. He really does. He's got a gift. He might be like Larry the Cable Guy or something. Isn't it Larry the Cable Guy? Yeah, he'll be like Larry the Cable Guy one day. You know, he's a unique personality.
Dabo, what's your perspective on defenses and how they've sort of adjusted to tempo in recent years? I guess they can be more complex now on the fly than they used to be.
Yeah, they definitely have had to, you know, to survive. I mean, I think that, you know, that's just evolution of football. I mean, everybody adjusts along the way. I think the biggest thing is personnel. People have made adjustments personnel-wise. People have made adjustments as far as how they coach things, technique-wise, whether it be up front, the defensive ends or D-line. They've made adjustments as to how they teach where to put their eyes, you know, things like that, and then how they practice, because you have to practice a certain way to be prepared for game day, what you're going to see on game day. So I think all of those things have helped, and then I think defenses have gone no huddle as well, and have learned how to shorten some things and signal things. So the communication part of it has improved a ton. So I think it's a combination of all those things that's changed from a tempo standpoint.
How are the personalities of an offense and the defense different? Particularly Clemson, you mentioned the bus.
Oh, they're just different birds. I mean, that's just, you know, they're just totally different. Receivers are different from DBs. Running backs are different from linebackers. Offensive linemen are different from defensive linemen. It's just different. You know, it's always been that way, forever.
When you think back to 2011, when you played Virginia Tech back then and where their program was then, and now 5 years later where you are at and where their program is, can you see the parallels between them and you from those two times?
Well, I mean, we're both right where we were back then. We're both in the championship game, and both coming off of division championships and good seasons. So not much has changed in that regard. I mean, I think for us, I mean, Virginia Tech, you know, under Coach Beamer, I mean, as consistent a program as there is in the country. They were, 10-win seasons over and over and over, bowl games. Nobody looked forward to playing Virginia Tech, that's for sure. He and his program were a model of consistency. And, I'm thankful that now, since 2011, we can look back and say, okay, well, man, this is our 4th title game, and we've been incredibly consistent as a program. So I think, if anything, we've kind of grown to be a little bit more of the type of program that they were for all those years under Coach Beamer. But, they're right back where they've always been, competing for championships. And, especially since they've joined this conference, they've done a heck of a job. And Justin will do a great job. He's going to. They made a great hire in Justin, and and in fact that he kept Bud, and that all worked out. I think it's a really good situation for Virginia Tech. They'll be a really consistent team for many years to come. I don't have any doubt about it.
How would you compare Mike Williams with Sammy and Nuke and some of the other great receivers in there?
Well, they're all different. But he's tremendous. He's just awesome. I think he's the most complete that we've had coming out. Of course, he's here 4 years too. But I think he's the most complete guy that we've had. He's got similar attributes. Nuke was still developing physically, still developing as a receiver. And obviously, he's a great player. All those guys are first-round picks. But I think Mike is the biggest challenge of all of them, because his combination. He's 225 pounds and can run and change direction. He can sink his hips. He's got Nuke's ball skills. He's incredibly intelligent. He's passionate about the ball. He's passionate about his technique and his discipline of his route running, and just like Sammy was. And he's a load. He's a load. He's going to be a great pro. I don't know who's winning the Biletnikoff. I don't know if he's even on the list, but I know who's getting picked first. It's going to be that guy. That's what I told Sammy. I remember sitting there with Sammy. We were at the Biletnikoff Award that year, and I don't know who won it. I'm sure he was a great player. Who was it?
Marquis Sweet.
Okay, all right. Well, we were at the award show, and he didn't win the award, and I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, you didn't win that, but you'll be picked first," and he was, and it's the same with Mike. I don't need to see anybody else out there. This guy there's none better. And I've made my living coaching wideouts forever, and there ain't none better. His size, his length, his toughness, his IQ, his speed, and explosiveness is just rare. He's a rare guy, and he's just a blue-collar, low-maintenance country boy. He's just simple. He is a simple kid and easy to coach, man. He's a great one.
Coach, players for the past couple weeks have been referring to November as championship season. When did you first start preaching it to the players? Because by the hardware you got next to the Christmas tree, obviously, it's been working.
Yeah. How y'all like the Christmas trees? Isn't that nice? Got everybody's picture on there. We got you on there, Larry Williams, and we have to get you on there. Nice picture right there. That's nice. They did. I don't even know who did all that. They did a great job with that. Well, we just kind of break. We've been doing that for a while, several years. We break the year into the year's the journey, and we have 4 phases of our year. We got the get ready phase, we've got the transformation phase, primetime phase, and championship phase, and that's how we go about our year. And there's no shortcuts. You gotta win each phase. We're having success in November because of what we did in our get ready phase back in January and February and March. And we're winning in November because we do what we did in our transformation phase when we came out of spring and took it into the summer. So it all builds on top of each other, and that's just it's what we do.
I'm guessing too that you don't think that your guys are worried at all about any additional pressure because of what's at stake if you guys win.
No, I mean, that's no different pressure than any other game. It's at stake every week. It really is. I mean, it was at stake at Auburn. It was at stake versus Troy. It was at stake versus Georgia Tech. It was at stake versus Syracuse. It was at stake every single week. If you're worried about all that stuff, so we just try to just have the best season we can have. There's not a single goal up there that says go to the playoff. There's nothing up there that says win the national championship. We don't control that. I mean, we could go undefeated and somebody could say, no, we don't like y'all. I mean, you got people out there that want to put USC up there. They've lost 3 ball games. Now all of a sudden the season don't count. So now all of a sudden it's more about your brand than it is, okay, well, how you played. Games matter, or at least they should matter. And so, again, we could go undefeated and somebody may say, well, we don't like y'all. Got plenty of them people out there. We don't like y'all, so y'all don't get to go. Well, we don't. Okay, we just want to be the best we can be. That's all we want to do. We just want to be the best we can be. And sometimes being the best you can be is impacted by a lot of things. I mean, you can have injuries, and you might be 8-4. Does that mean you're a bad team? No. That might. You know what? Hey, you had a heck of a year. Maybe you lost a couple of really close games. You had some turnovers. Does that mean the team was bad? Does that mean they didn't play hard? Does that mean they didn't give great effort? Does that mean they weren't committed? Does that mean they didn't practice with passion? Absolutely not. But sometimes that's just the way it is. And so you celebrate that and you go on to the next one. But no, we want to win our conference. That's what we want to do. But the pressure is internal about playing to the standard that we talk about, being the best that we can be. If we do that, and you can look at the man in the mirror and smile at him, well, live with whatever results you get. So that's just the philosophy that we have. And we all know, I mean, if we win this game, we're going to most likely get a chance to go to the playoff. That'd be great. I think we're one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country. That'd be great to have that opportunity. If we don't win it, we're going to be in a great bowl game with a great matchup, and we'll be excited to go play that game. I mean, we don't sit around and worry about, if this and if that, and we just go play the game, do the best you can, and live with the result.
What are your memories of that 2011 ACC championship game? How special was that to get your first ACC?
Yeah, it was very special. Because obviously that was the first one, and we hadn't done it. We had gotten there in 2009 and came up a little short. And then to get back 2 years later and to win it and do something that hadn't been done here in 20 years or whatever at the time, that was huge. It was just, we're just kind of climbing the mountain. You just winning some battles along the way, and that was a big one for us. And I'll always be so proud of that team for finding a way to win and getting it done. It was an awesome night. It was incredible. I remember coming back after coming home from the game, and there must have been 3,000 people here. It was just unbelievable to see how excited people were for that team and to see that team celebrated like that. It was awesome. And then last year's team, with the pressure that was on that team, and how they handled that and how they just gutted it out. Literally gutted it out and we were a team. Gutted it out. Gutted it out. Gutted it out. Yeah, that's what they do at the Smoking Pig all the time. But last year's team and managing the pressure of undefeated, number one in the rankings. Everybody, oh my God, can we get to the playoff? Can Clemson take another step? And now you got to go play a North Carolina team who's really good. and we're literally on fumes. And again, I always have such great appreciation for just the will to win of that team, and the type of fight that they had in them, and how we didn't always play great, but we just kept finding ways to win. And then this year's team to get back. We haven't had back-to-back ACC champions. First time we've had this opportunity. It's a big deal. We hadn't won back-to-back titles in 28 years here. So it's what it's all about for us. Anything that comes out after this, hey, that's great, and we're excited for it. But our goal is to win this league. That's our goal.
Do you think that win in 2011 helped set the stage for what you've been able to do the past 5 years?
Certainly. There's no question. I mean, everything we've done since '09 has set the stage for where we are right now. Every decision that we've made, recruiting, graduation, you name it, everything that has taken place in this program since '09 has helped get us to where we are right now. Even the losses, the wins, everything, you name it. It's all part of where we are.
You guys have obviously a lot of success from Dexter and Christian on the defensive side of the ball, but you guys have had some good success using them on offense too as blockers in that jumbo package. How much do those two enjoy getting to play on that side of the ball, and what's it like for you as a coach, kind of seeing those two behemoths go out and maul people on offense?
They've done a great job outside of one play, and they actually did a pretty good job on that one play this year. They've been very consistent. They have fun with it, and it's something that we'll continue to take advantage of as long as we got them here. Why wouldn't you? In certain situations, but I'm proud of them. I mean, Dexter is just an amazing young person. He really is. They're very similar in the type of people that they are. Different backgrounds, but very similar as far as they're just very good-natured young guys that love people, that love life, and they're passionate about being great at everything that they do, school, football, and you can't give them enough. They whatever you ask them to do, they do it with a smile on their face. Christian's been a great mentor for Dex. Christian I was talking to somebody yesterday, but he was like a senior when he got here last year. Literally, he was like a senior. That's how mature he is, and Dex is very similar. So yeah, it's been great. Been great watching them, and fun to see Christian have some neat opportunities to get a touchdown here and there, and hopefully there'll be some more of those along the way.
How much time do they actually spend working on offense, like during the week? Is it a weekly thing, or is
Yeah. We have our short yardage goal line periods. We'll have some walkthrough time where we'll coordinate with the defense on, okay, hey, we need them this period, and we'll make sure it's a period where, okay, they can cut them loose. So we just have to match it up. But, like I said, they're smart guys. It's not rocket science. I mean, we just get a little bit of reps here and there, and then the rest is natural God-given ability. Just take that 340 and go that way, and we got a chance. You got that guy. So we just keep it simple, but we have to spend a little time each week working our package with them.
Virginia Tech has kind of an old school fullback in number 45.
Yeah.
Rogers kid. What do you think of him? And do you think the fullback is that an endangered species in football now?
Well, I think he's a heck of a player. I think he's a old school traditional fullback type of a guy. But no, I mean, I think that the days of just everybody getting, even in the NFL, you don't see it a whole lot. Just guys getting in the I formation, and here's the fullback, and they're going to run the blunt play, and they're going to run the power play, and then run a toss 10 times. You don't see that as much. You see it still some. I think there's still a need for that, for sure. And I think, but I think a lot of teams have gone to a little bit more hybrid tight end guys that can do those same things, but also be on the line type of tight ends and athletic enough guys to split out and create some matchups in the passing game. So that's kind of what a lot of teams have gone to. He's a good football player. He can run the ball. He gashed Virginia. He's a tough guy.
Dabo, in the aftermath of the game Saturday night and the things that were said, I know you said you talked to your players. I'm curious, have you heard from Will Muschamp or reached out to him, or where does that stand now?
About what? What particular thing you talking about?
Well, there was talk, the players and the accusations that were made. You said you talked to your team, and I just was curious. I know D-Rad said he talked to you, and Ray Tanner's talked. I just didn't know.
No, I mean it is it is what it is. It's a shame, that a diversion to take away from what happened on the field. And it's disappointing. Listen, I give young people some grace. Young people will say some things from time to time, and emotion or whatever. I don't have a problem giving young people some grace. The only problem I have is some of the media people. I don't give them much grace. They don't give me none either. But and I'm not necessarily talking about the people in this room. I'm talking about some of the people who. I mean, it's just like there's no credibility anymore. I mean, you don't need to confirm anything anymore. Just write it. Somebody said what? Headlines. They don't care. Shoot first, ask questions later. That's the mentality that we have now in the media, and it's a shame. It really is a shame because you're attacking people's character. But there won't be no retraction. There won't be an apology. You just attack somebody's character anytime you want if you have the power of the pen or blog or whatever, and that used to not be that way. Back in the day, you had relationships and people would ask you, and but now, hey man, I was in the bathroom and the guy in the third stall was on the phone and said this, and that's what I heard, and man, it's headlines, and because that's what sells, and that's the disappointing thing. There's zero accountability. Zero. You let me say something? I mean, none. No accountability whatsoever. And it's there. I mean, that's instead of the headline being, 23-1 in the last 2 years. Instead of the headline being these seniors just won their 46th game. Instead of the headline being the largest margin of victory ever for an ACC versus SEC opponent. Instead of the headline being, we've only had 6 11-win seasons in the history of Clemson, and we've had 4 in the last 5 years, 4 of those. Instead of those being the headlines and one of the most dominant performances ever, the headline is, what somebody, give me a break. Give me a break. And again, I don't give grace to the young people. It ain't about that. I give total grace to that. But for the adults who will take anything and go and write it and spin it and headline it the way they want it to get people to click on it, man, shame on them. But that's the world we live in. And that's sad. With zero accountability. A lot of those people should be fired. They should be fired. They should be. But there's no accountability. People with a microphone, they just say whatever they want to say. Don't matter how they attack people's character, attack, whatever. They don't say that. You don't win the amount of football games that you trying to cut me off, Tim? Yeah.
It's already gone to noon.
Good question.
Already been the longest press conference of the year.
All right, nice seeing y'all. See you in Orlando.